The father of Sandy Hook shooter Adam Lanza says he wishes his son had never been born.
He said he struggled with coming to that, but what happened was so horrific he could only wish it away.
Mass shootings. One thing that America, we look over here and, one thing that we identify with is the mass shootings over in America, and every time it happens we go, what the hell? Is someone going to do something about this? How does it happen time and time again? What's your take on the situation over there? Because we had one mass shoot, or we've had a couple of mass shootings, but on a scale was the Port Arthur massacre, where 35 people were killed. I think that was back in 1996. On the basis of that, the gun control thing, we just took guns off everyone. We had a gun buyback scheme. People would be bringing their guns into the police station. We'd be paying them to get guns off the street. Really changed the landscape, and I think saved a lot of people down the track. In America, it's just one thing after another. What's your take?
Well, that's a very, very difficult one. No question. When you talked earlier about how sometimes politicians will say you've got to move on, a very common thing you'll hear right after a terrible mass shooting in the United States is, it's not time for politics, it's time for prayers. Yeah. I don't think that helps the victims. No. I don't quite understand as someone, sometimes I feel that unless you've been on the scene of one of these, you can't really, even when we show the pictures on TV, you really can't comprehend how awful they are. I don't quite understand why, we have people who can obtain magazines that contain more ammunition than the cops are allowed to carry. We have these guns that have no use for hunting, but can quickly kill people in a very, very short, brutal period of time. And it's astounding to me after particularly the school shootings. There was one in Connecticut where I could not cover it. It's the first story I did one day and I could not do any more. I was crying through interviews and it was unprofessional, but I could not imagine.
Which one was that, Erin?
Newtown. Newtown.
Right. Okay. Is that Sandy Hook?
Yeah. Sandy Hook. Right, same. Okay. Yeah. Sandy Hook or Newtown. And
that was
you had this
where it was the kids.
Young man who then, he kills his mother first and then he kills these children who are all just little children, and their parents who have to live with the fact, they couldn't protect their kids. And then you had that awful radio Jones, who would then say it was all made up. They're actors. None of this really happened. So that added pain. But I honestly thought when that happened that we would, as a country, realize that, nobody, at least I certainly would not want to take people's guns away. But I think there are ways that you can make it more difficult for somebody who is really suicidal, as most of these cases, Gary, they are, and they just don't want to go alone. They want to take people with them. It's usually individuals who have mental illness. It's often young men. It's rare for young women to do it, and yet we just don't seem willing. I know this country, and it was founded on people came to the United States because they wanted rights. They wanted land. They did not want a government telling them and ruling every aspect of their lives. And that is the basis. That's what this country was started. And I think there's still so much of that in this country, but it just, unless I did do Columbine, and then I started on Sandy Hook, Newtown, and I could not continue. I just, I couldn't do it.
The limit of what you can absorb. I can't even. I can't, and I've seen horrific crime scenes, but I comprehend something on that magnitude. And when it's children involved like that too, it must just be heartbreaking. But yeah, I lost faith in the system over there changing something just to stop these situations happening after that, because I thought if that doesn't change things, nothing will. And
Well, there have been Parkland. There have been, I don't know what it will take. The idea that you can't go to a 4th of July parade without worrying about somebody deciding to, just shoot indiscriminately. And I don't understand that at all. It would be much harder to have these mass killings if you just didn't have these guns that are so easily used.
Well, the assault
let off so many shots in such a short period of time.
I did tactical policing. They're assault rifles. They're assault rifles for a reason, because you can just let off round after round, and I can't see the justification. Right to bear arms. That was born back a long time ago. I think it's changed a little bit. What if the guns get even better? Do something that can, shoot 1,000 like you see on the gunships in the military. Do we allow people to have those? Like it's
and now you can make your own guns. Now that you can actually create guns at home, basically, if you have the right equipment that don't have any serial numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very worrisome. And I think with how divided this country is, and this is a very this is actually a world issue where I think people are really divided about what they want their future to be. I think it's just scary to have people who might be really unhappy and have some mental illness have access to a very powerful weapon.